even further away from it.
Yeah, and closer to the proximity of winning lock-in. I don't know. It's a tough question to answer. One of life's tougher ones.
Pretty unstoppable so far is the best way you can summarize Fnatic. I remember their attacks on this map previously, incredibly good at controlling the orbs and then using it to rotate around. And the number of times we actually saw a rotate over towards A, then back in through baby door ender, as you so lovingly call it, and I now captured onto. That was the kind of go-to play for them time and time again, and it feels like we're doing it here. They've stepped forward, they've got the orb on towards Mound, and now they're rotating over towards Ruins.
Yeah, you know, they were really, I think, expecting maybe a little bit of early aggression. So 1 minute, 6 seconds on the clock. They're using all this utility to re-clear over towards Rebel.
Is it
the rotates are coming in very quickly. You can see it, 4 players already. The Killjoy turret taken offline, so it really is just Coldamenta that would give any information over. And if Fnatic get a good read on this, they could break down the baby door and move over into B.
Well, look at the spike as well. Still sat largely towards spawn, now looking to move forwards as well.
Oh, they don't go
I think
here.
I'm with you. If Fnatic get the read on this, that hey, there are actually 3 or 4 players sat on side of sight, then a rotate away doesn't feel too unfeasible, but so far they're so hard committed. They're inside tree. They really want to make this work.
Yeah, they finally have broken the door, but because Boaster was really taking his time and not going for the lurk, it's going to be a fight here.
Oh my god, the fight.
Wait.
No, it's a slaughter. Leo cleaning house, and Koi absolutely eviscerated on sight. They do get 1 back, but it feels too little, too late, I'm afraid.
Koi bit on everything that round. It was Durka that just solo went into baby door, and then Koi tried to retake with the team. Now Chronicle lurks in through stairs. The round completely falls apart because Koi took everything Fnatic did at face value.
The thing is, on paper, strategically, it felt like Koi made the right decisions. They rotated over, they held fast when Fnatic were pushing in, and it looked like they had a numbers advantage, but this crossfire that's just set up, just brutal.
Yeah.
2, 3 players on different angles, whereas really Koi all stuck coming forward from the same position.
Koi were convinced that there were like 3, 4 people, I think, that ran into towards B there, as opposed to just Durka, and that completely fries them on the attack, or on the defense, I guess. You're trying to re-attack into the space.
On their counter-attack.
Oh, okay, I like it.
That's what you want.
Koi strike back.
Now, you're going to see exactly the same again, I imagine, here. Just constantly looking for control of the orb. You can see now they're trying to step on their way forwards and look for it. But quite an aggressive bit of land taken as well by Koi out towards A side, really pushing up towards spawn here with the one-way.
Yeah, Fnatic like to spread out early a lot. You'll see this sort of a 3-2 split, and this Killjoy turret that watches in B. Well, yes, it catches any sort of early aggression push down your way. It also allows safe passage for the rotates through spawn, making sure no one in mid can actually swing onto the angle because the turret would prime, and it allows them to, like you're saying, play for that orb by mound, leave a player posted here, and rotate back without being worried about anyone hard holding that angle in mid.
It's very slow, making full use of the round, as again we've seen Fnatic do several times. No rush to run in and plant when you've got 1 minute and 40 to play with. Still going to try and find a fight here on their push through. It looks like it's going to be in towards A as they move in with some pace here as well. Chronicle in.
Minecrafting through the door there as Stars, though. He's like, let me out of here. The blood trail on him. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's the battle of the rifles, right? They're just looking for what's more favorable. How can they get away without losing anything in this round?
And this is the actual real push into B, looks like. See, you can see Boaster all the way up forward. So they are going to commit in there. Interesting, they sort of left Durka posted over by Mound, but he has the Marshal, so not looking to go flying to sight as much as the previous. And yeah, tough time to be alive. Ouch. So better just to move on to the next round, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really have high expectations during round 2 anyway, but even that felt pretty punishing. 1 kill across the 2 rounds so far for the side of Koi.
And respect to Fnatic, look how good their orb economy has been. Like, Boaster hasn't done anything. Good for him. We don't care about his ult so much. 5 orbs on Chronicle, Leo, and Durka. That is fantastic, whereas Koi, it's spread across everyone. So Fnatic, while they won't have their ult going into this round, they're still going to have a buy in round 4 because they are light armor enthusiasts. And they're going to have probably 2 of those ults at least going forward to really put the hurt down on Koi.
For almost all intents and purposes, this is starting to look a bit like a full round. I know it's mainly, well, it is all half armor for the side of Fnatic. The Bulldog's really the only weapon you look at and say, okay, not Fnatic at full power, but again, given how the first 2 rounds went, you'd be remiss forgiven for saying that this looks like it's going to be a pretty stompy 3rd round as well.
I mean, just losing Stars though at the front is really tough. The Hawk does tell them that no one's pushed into Rebel at least, so I was wondering if Fnatic maybe wanted to try and instantly capitalize and push into that space after the false info was given, but no, it'll be that late split. in towards C or B. If they can control up through mid, control the switch, they have so many options to pivot between sites.
There we go. One kill comes through, immediately traded back by Cordamenta though. Koi at least managed to hold on to Mound for a brief few seconds. Fnatic now fully forced them back though, as the second also has fallen down. So this is looking a little bit ropey already for the side of Koi. Two players fast rotating over, but for now there's only the Killjoy sat on site.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. Shadows is here and can try to fight, but they're opening the door as soon as they see the Killjoy over there. Still a couple of mollies on the site, but this late lurk from Durka is going to be so pivotal. If he beats Wolfen, the round is over for Koi. If Wolfgang can win that one, all of a sudden they're back in it.
Well, it feels like it's definitely going that way. Durka's still lurking on towards C. They know there's one here, gets the read and finds Wolfen. A second one falls down too. It's absolute tatters for Koi and their economy here in round 3. I think we all expected a bit of a stomp, but maybe not quite to this level.
And now the hunt is on. Remove that gun. Fnatic on top. With a little combo at the end for the KO. Gotta love to see it.
Love it.
And I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of this, I'll be honest, from Fnatic, sort of teetering between the two sites there. I mean, they sent Durka into back bend, and then they just open the door and leave him there. They're perfectly happy to sort of abandon him on that mission, sort of use their numbers to bully their way back into sight. Durka, at that point, had sort of given up on the fight. He just saw the tip of the head, but he was ready. Hey, got the numbers advantage. I'll fall back to the team and just leave that constant threat available over to Koi. So Koi are going to have to get creative or more convincing in these holds, because it wasn't like that time all the Killjoy utility was committed on C. No, it was just a turret. And then the mollies were on B, and that didn't really prove to be any issue to Fnatic.
Nope, sees the one up close as well. A little bit of chip damage coming down towards Boaster. Gives you a bit of encouragement here on the side of Koi. But Rubble's a two-sided scrap going on here as well, but Rubble seems to be the main point of aggression. It's Chronicle boasted up high, finds one, goes for the pistol, but can't find the second.
Shados has to find something, but he's
got 5 HP.
He's 5!
Now, what can he do? Nothing.
And the whole squad comes in.
Yeah.
It all falls apart. And you can see, like, there is some theory there. If you know Fnatic like to split up 3-2, looking for early aggression can work, especially if you can catch the 2, which has been Rubble virtually every single round. That, of course, in Eco, they're going on both sides, which is, you know, just trying to be like, okay, can we flip a coin and win one of them? Then if we're even numbers, we can get some rifles. We'll be, like, marginally happy. But in the future, if we see this aggression, I think it'll be much more like one-sided, where there'll be a strong side of the map. They're pushing with 3 or so players. The weak side, where the Killjoy is going to be locking down and looking for the stall. But I think we might actually get some mid-play from Stars, so you can see him walking in front here. But Fnatic are ready for that, as a matter of fact.
The classic. We saw this back in week 3, week 4. Just railing things out with the Odin. See what can be found. Durka going inside a bit of a spot of bother here as well. Utility coming in to try and save him here as he backs away. Will keep his life, but down to just 24 HP.
Yeah, but Shados uses an ultimate, gets nothing off of it. Fnatic have those big 3 ults. I was saying they did such a good job of funneling the orbs into, so now Fnatic can regroup around this C site and punish. Good scouting with the Fade as well. Look at the util
the raise. I was about to say, could get caught up by the raise there, but just about manages to dodge away. Wonder if we'll see one of those ults come through here as well. I mean, really looking towards the Fade. You got 4 players all boxed up, looking in towards Mound, now looking to slowly back themselves away. Koi have retaken the ground they lost, but at what cost? I'm looking at the utility stack on B though. Ouch.
It's been there before, and the thing is, with Shados playing in window with the fault line ready to go, that is a kill if you overextend. They actually pop the util early. It's a 1-for-1 only.
They're going to rotate out.
Oh, they're going to go back into C. Check this out.
Hey, yeah, they've got 30 seconds to play here. That's time to make a move. They look for it as well. They find 2. Alfie here finds his 3rd into the round as well. It feels like it's the 1, as the ult now does come across the site. But they rotate out towards C, using the ult as bait.
Fnatic are going everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. The clock is working down, though. 12 seconds. Boaster falls. The round's just over.
They've held on. Koi finally putting up a defense here against the members of Fnatic in what felt like a little bit of indecision. Sure, they made the calls in the mid-round to rotate between the sites, but sadly, could get nothing out of it.
That's a tough spot to be in. I think Fnatic, their own Fatal baited them slightly, because it gets 1 ping on the B site. So you assume, okay, there's at least 1 person on B, maybe a second. Going to C is the safer call, because there could be 1 or there could be none, right? But they go in sort of haphazardly, the spike falls, then Boaster is trying to take a chance. Even though it was a 3-on-2, I think the decision to maybe split up and allow Killjoy, Alfier to hang out in B meant that once they lost this player, it comes down to just 1s.
I'll go back to that earlier point again, is that Fnatic are a team that don't mind playing it slow, right? They'll happily execute with 10, 15, 20 seconds left. You might even hear yourself think at the best of times when that's firing away.
Yeah, and sometimes they send it, so Durka gets a lot of chip damage onto Coldamenta there, who has to TP back a couple of times to get out of here. Mollies have both been popped from Wolfen, so the actual stall power is not the strongest. Trex has walked over on minimap. You can see he gave the heal over to Coldamenta, so he's going to be perfectly happy with himself. Or themselves, actually. It's unclear how many people Omen is.
Could be many.
Or if he's an octopus. Ask Sideshow about that.
I will not. Chronicle still obviously has his ultimate online as well. I thought for a second we might just see a full send on towards C with it, but Fnatic have made that classic rotate again. They got control of Mound, they got the orb, they've now backed themselves away. Chronicle's really looking to use that in this round as well. You want to make sure you can get a second up before we switch sides. Now's the time to make use of it. Tucking in closely is Durka trying to go for the push. Also coming in through Tree. It's another hard commit in towards the A site here out of Fnatic.
A lot of utility to try and stall out here. Chronicle takes down Starzo. And now it's just Trex hiding in the smoke. He's going to fall off of the site. Koi are going to rely more on Coldamenta's flank, coming in all the way back through spawn. But you can see Fnatic have a good setup to try and fight back and turn around into that flanker.
Almost managed to catch him out there as well, with the aftershock coming through, just not connecting, managing to get away just in time, and now it's a difficult spot for Koi. They've got Coldamenta on the flank, which is a starting point, but is essentially in a 1 versus 3 here, at least for a couple of seconds. Still, Koi have bunched up on site here, look to be able to take the advantage. Going to be fun here coming in for Durka, one dropping down towards low. He gets taken down too, it's almost a second on the follow through, as Alfie in a 1 versus 2 has got it all to do, but simply cannot. Koi find a second.
Coldamenta, the flank play pays off. Wolfen's just killing everyone on the retake there. I think Fnatic sort of stretched themselves thin. You can see with the positions they were entrenched on site, but also playing 2 very deep. Put themselves in sort of one-off positions a couple of times in a row. You know, Boaster maybe if in near dodge. You'd love to see it.
The double TP to get away.
But yeah, Boaster fights in front of the turret here, as opposed to maybe waiting for that, swinging with the teammate. So I think Fnatic got a little ahead of themselves in that situation. Relied on the individuals, and Koi went out in the retake, so props to them on that. And now they've got 3 huge ultimates. Starzo's just 1 off, so he's going to look for a pick over by A with the operator. If he gets that, Koi can just fall and play full retake setups. Their ults are crazy on the retake.
Immortal the Odin as well. Still, with a couple of rounds on under their belt here, you're starting to feel that momentum build for them as well. It's not just, of course, about the economy. It's about the players themselves. A little bit flat in the first few rounds. It is a bit hard being the punching bag week after week, but I think here, at least you're seeing something.
One of the things that I've liked seeing from Koi the last 2 rounds, that late mid-round reaggress, or mid-round mound reaggress over here, in this area that you're seeing on your screen. That turned into the flank the previous round a couple ago. They had a very forward position that would have been good. And you can see 1:05 on the clock. They're opening the door with Trex. 2 players swinging out around Mound. But Fnatic, off of that info, seeing 3 players over there, quick to take the space on A.
I think it's a good read because, again, we know Fnatic historically love to push into Mound early on. They love to get the ult, but then look for a rotate to either go in through Baby Door or pushing towards A. So by contesting that so early aggressively, you're denying some of those ults away. It could well have turned into a second or third ult being online for the side here, but I can't ignore that we have 2 ults on side as out comes the pit. And we've also got the Killjoy ult for another round. Here it comes at the same time as well, Ender.
Yeah, it's going to force them out of the Viper ult. Now, Chronicle, he can fall out of that ult for a moment at the last second and come back in. That'll be okay, but they're going to know the exact line he's coming in from. They're getting on the spike, but Alvier finds 2!
Almost a third as well, but forced to reload on 7 HP. Finds a third as well. That's the kind of cleanup we're used to seeing as Boaster closes things out. Fnatic back on top.
What just happened? Koi think they're safe with the ultimate and then just run into an unkillable machine inside Turi. Just tearing heads off, and any of the momentum you thought Koi had instantly gets shut down. I mean, 1 kill here maybe, but you can see the shoulder around. It's a wide swing with the Odin. Slightly delayed on that second peak, I think, and then there's 2 players that get hit by the counter ult.
Come on, then.
I mean, brutal.
Come on, then.
Because they were relying so much on those Tree players to be successful, right? Kill Alfier, shut down that KJ, but no, and he's just charging up the orbs at an alarming rate after slamming it in the previous.
That's it. And again, you're seeing another one of those fights around Man like we keep on mentioning. It's interesting because you think back up for Fnatic, obviously Icebox used to be their go-to map. Bind, we now know they can play still incredibly well, just like the good old days, but look at things like Haven. sounds a bit crazy to say, not entirely dissimilar to this map in that it's 3-site, only everything is pulled more further forward for the defenders, or for the attackers, sorry, those rotates with the doors. Incredibly easy. So playstyle-wise, it does feel quite similar for Fnatic, and again, that pace, normally teams struggle to keep up, but I'll give it to Koi. Although they are down 5-2, they are contesting areas of the map that normally teams would give Fnatic for free.
Especially when they're light on the rifles. They've fallen off those positions now, but they were looking to fight a couple over towards Mound and Rubble at the start. Now, I like this move from Trex. We've seen Fnatic's A-hits, the sort of Viper Wall allows them to wrap around the left side of site, and then they love to open the door and go for that push. So playing a little bit more aggressively towards Tree can work, but of course it allows that B-split to be even more punishing.
All from Stark, so impactless there, no damage across onto the side of Fnatic. They've kind of split themselves up between the A and B side, but B here it's gonna be. Wolfen finds the opening point as they're all stuck inside Smoke here, completely caught up by the fade.
Just out of range of the volley though.
Everything is painful, at least for the side of Koi. And with that spike now down, it's a big retake ask.
Koldamenta maybe gonna play with the door he opens, and Boaster should be able to hear that. You can see Fnatic, again, abandoned in solo spots. They've got to win these out on their own. But Koi are working as a unit onto that site.
Leo almost whiffing there, but does find Trex before he can take it down the other side. It feels like there's far too many angles being held here by Fnatic. Koi are going to try their very, very best. Tap in to try and bait them out. Boaster finds one. There's two going back across for the side of Koi, but it feels like it's all up Fnatic. And sure enough it is as Leo gets the close.
Fnatic win out, but only by a single player. Usually Fnatic's so clean, I feel, especially in the anti-ecos, but I've seen a couple of times now they're leaving themselves in positions where they're taking bigger gambles individually. There you see it at first with Durka walking into the smoke. He loves to flip the map and push spawn on this side on B and on C. Nothing too shocking there, but then afterwards sort of playing on those solo positions, controlling 3 of the entryways into sight, but divvying up the positions makes it, yes, hard to deal with if those players are finding the opening kills and they can fall back and leave that pressure, but that makes me a little bit nervous for Fnatic if they continue to play in this way the later we get against a real buy. Because that was, I think, just one rifle that was taken into that round, and Koi made it so tight.
It's not even just that, it's more just that they look a little more, I don't even want to say control for Fnatic, but slower probably is the slightly cruel word to use. It is slower than what we've seen out of them historically, and it's given Koi a little bit of breathing room to make what look like really effective rotates, and I'm hoping they're seeing that themselves here. Yes, they've got the timeout coming in. They know they need to have more rounds on the board by the time we get towards half-time. So a few words from the coach in to rebalance the score here, and hopefully we see Koi fight their way back in, because I do think across these rounds they've had some good ones.
They definitely have. Again, switching it in the last round, well, it didn't end up mattering, but playing heavier towards Tree, I think, is a gamble they can look to take. Here, they're going to play very early for Rubble control with a fault line. You know, we don't see too much Breach. Some teams like the Breach, Fnatic not so much. Fnatic actually no real flashes versus the double flash comp on Koi. And while Breach, I think, falls off a little bit in like the mid-round when the fault line isn't available, it does usually mean you can control early space very effectively. Doesn't matter this round, as Fnatic just sort of blitz on through. And the fault line wasn't even used to stall them down.
Trying to take ground here that normally isn't afforded to them because they focus so heavily on Mound, as we keep on saying, but Shados has been sat around Baby Door for a couple of rounds here, and he's been domed out pretty early on. That does give Fnatic an easy rotate in towards B if they want to make use of it. There's not really one there to contest them, 2 players rotating over, but there comes the ult, and that will signify to the side of Koi exactly what's coming.
They see the 2 players, and they want to hunt them down. The bloodlines on the ground let them in, but look at this, Chronicle waiting inside Baby Door, trades 1 for 1 just even. Durka takes 2 and a third on site. Insanity from the Duelist. And that round is over.
Over a 90-degree spray transfer at the end there as well. Beautiful stuff to watch. Wow. 6-2. Spikes down. This one done and dusted. So for Koi, the timeout maybe not as effective as they would have hoped.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused what happened at the start, because I didn't see the early utility investment. There was definitely not a fault line coming out of Shados. In fact, very quickly took the space. Then Shados was sort of fighting unsupported by utility. Lost the positioning in Baby Door.
Could you find a second here as well? Sees Leo. Carl and his gunfight gets tagged on the way out as well.
Yeah, that's rough.
I absolutely love that animation.
Yeah. I feel like I would get a little bored of it after a while if I was the one on the receiving end over and over. It's a good, like, mental edge takedown. called? Finisher? Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, that spray transfer, poor Starzo didn't even know what hit him. Starzo's like literally Anakin from the episode 1, like tinkering with the little robots. And then Darth Maul tries to run him over with his speeder. Doesn't even know who this kid is. Just looks to murder him. That's Durka.
That's Durka in general.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are in front of him. It's what he does best. So here again, we're going to see Fnatic go back to that old default. Starting out towards Mound side, hoping to contest there and control the orb. Get some control to make use of the rotate in towards B, because it leaves Koi guessing. Are they pushing down through mid to get towards B? Are they going straight towards C? Here though, they're actually aggressing in towards Spawn Ender. I haven't seen this one before. They've managed to find one, instant trade out back to the other side, and now suddenly Fnatic are forced into a hard decision. Do we force in towards Mount without full information what we're running into, or do we risk getting backstabbed? Well, Koi opts and say, you know what, we'll take the one, we'll get out of dodge.
I think Koi had another tough call too, which is like, do we keep fighting into spawn where we're going to get mowed down?
Yeah.
But that means we leave the rifle, or do we try to retrieve it? I think they make the right call, now moving all the way back over towards C, but I love this from Fnatic, sort of reading what you expect the enemy team to do, because the enemy team is thinking, yeah, you pivot immediately into C, but no. It's just one player now on the A site to hold off. They know Coldamenter's been forced back through Baby Door off the Prowler's information. So pretty soon they're going to realize it's an open A site, and the best thing for Koi would be if Durka slams the ultimate and doesn't find anyone there.
30
but
seconds left.
Fnatic are playing it very patiently, almost too patiently, 25 seconds. There's no util to stall them here.
It's kind of been their shtick, is that slow, controlled, ability to rotate very quickly when they want to, just turning things up and down as and when required. Coldamenta giving himself away. Fnatic have full control of the A site here as well. Koi maybe a little bit too strong a hold in towards B, expecting a back rotate to come through. But Fnatic have now got that control they need out towards Tree.
They're playing all off-site because Shadows has the Rolling Thunder, so they don't want to get caught by that. Instead, retreating to play double Tree so they can open and play around through this door. Durka's the only one in that awkward position, but this could pay off big for him.
Oh!
Or for Coldamenta.
Coldamenta on the drive-by puts Durka into an early grave. 3 versus 4 for Fnatic. They find 2 very quickly on these sprays through the smokes. Round in the corner is Trex, who brings one back, but he's left in a 1 versus 2 against Alpha and Leo. Not much more to say than that one. His goose is cut. Fnatic are up 8 and 2.
Getting slightly dodgy
I've
towards
seen that so many times now.
And believe me, Koi have seen it too on that receiving end. Brutal stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, Fnatic, smooth play, working their way back over towards A, and they're able to take it without even using Durka's ultimate, so they're going to be very happy, all things considered. Now, one thing we only saw the one time from Koi was that flank from Coldamenta. And so I'd wonder, like, do they try to work that in if they try to take over Mount control? And with their positioning, I think that could be an option for them. Remember previously when they played 2 up mid, they looked to open up switch and then fight out with Coldamenta and Trex from back Mound. And now they're going to see players, so give it a few more seconds and they could look to flash out here with Shados and open that door.
Oh, that's a close! Oh, Coldamenta! A little bit too close to the damage there. Finds himself taken down. Straight away, Durka's there, ready for the swing off Wolfen as well. That C-side completely cleared. Elsewhere, there's a bit of a scrap going down as once again, Koi have been decimated. They had 3 ultimates online at the start of this round, and at this point, only 1 still left in back pocket. Makes this a very precarious situation. Oh. It's all or nothing in the next round, and we are going to have a lot of ults online.
It is a disaster. Koi wanted to do the play, but Fnatic just beat him to the punch. Durka mows down Coldamenta while he's trying to throw out the paranoia. I think Koi just looking for scraps at this point, but that's got to take all the wind out of your sails when you have the right idea, and if you pulled the trigger 5 seconds earlier, you might be farming Fnatic off the Rolling Thunder, but nope. Instead, it just all falls apart. You lose that big ultimate for absolutely nothing, and it makes the next round look even worse for you.
I'm going to consider that Killjoy that's available. I'm pretty sure Chronicle's going to have his 2 after the round, so you've got a lot to contend with yourself. Admittedly, they're going to have the Killjoy up themselves, the ability to match it back onto the other side, but even then, Fnatic up 9 and 2, it does feel like this is already a bit too tall a mountain to climb.
In the half.
I think Koi are going to Fnatic are going to realize that even though that play worked out for them, it's still a little bit concerning because a lot of things went their way, right? That ultimate first, where poor guy has utility out in his hand, but also like this kill, like his entire team is destroyed by utility, but Durka still finds the one. if Wolfen wins that fight, it's a very different story. Wolfen can, you know, hit the nitrous and then go flying around the corner, look to take another fight off the concussed targets with the teammate, but instead it just traps the players behind the door. Wolfen falls, everything goes to pieces, so.
Well, it's now or never on a bunch of these ultimates. Let's see if any get brought out. I imagine we'll see the Seekers at some point out of Trex especially, but really to me it's those 2 Killjoy ultimates we're keeping a very, very close eye on. More likely when we see Fnatic get up towards an execute once again, looking to contest in towards Mound. This has been the main battleground, the battle mound you might call it, between these two teams so far, but it has been Fnatic who are normally the first to pull away.
Shadows likes holding on to that stun line for a little while just to take it off the predictable timings, right? Instead of being at 140 right at round start and then 1 minute off the cooldown, hits it at 120 there. So now there's a bit of a window, 20 seconds before he's going to have that up. Fnatic aren't going to be able to act onto this site quickly enough to be able to beat that timing, especially if they wait for the Killjoy ult, which is surely going to come down shortly. Because at this point, they're almost locked down. They can look for this kill and then maybe move into B off of the ultimate if there's some fight there, but I think it'll do a good enough job to force them all the way back off the site and they can take C.
They're going to commit and hold here as well. Just a one on site for now, swings to the fight, but Fnatic are more than ready. They find their man, everyone else is backed away, and now they're in a spot. Maybe you see the response coming out from the other side, just nothing at the minute. Sure, a flash comes on through, but Dirk is ready and waiting. Trex swings out on the swing.
20 seconds.
Finds another. They're starting to bounce things back, but Stars has got it all to do against 3.
15.
Just very little more to say here as well. Going to try and do what they can. A little bit of chip coming on through. No, a bit of chip came through, but that was all it was. Starkso, nothing more to be found as Leo finds that sprayed through. Fnatic up 10 and 2.5, dominant as ever.
Brutal. That was weird. I saw the plant timer stop going away. I thought it had been broken. I think there were still paint shells, but maybe a little bit slower to act on those. So Starzo ends up having that one slip away. 1 versus 3, a really tough spot to be in, but all things considered, bit of a masterclass I think Fnatic put on there. Sometimes got a little bit hairy in the late rounds with players stepping into, you know, solo spots, but in terms of how they played the map, played through the doors throughout. Koi had one play that seemed to work decently for them, that refight for mount control with the 2 players working up through mid, but even the one round where it almost looked like it was going to work, Fnatic beat him to the timing, and that is just summing up the rounds perfectly, I think, throughout that half.
Pain as well is that obviously Koi took their time out when they were down 4 and 2 and did not manage to win a single round after that point. Maybe not the kind of break you're looking for, or the outcome of a break, admittedly. You hope for a little bit more. But it has just been that kind of half for Koi, unfortunately. Not quite living up to the hope of those play day 1 dreams that they hold on to.
But is living up to the expectations of the #1 team standings currently.
I mean, again, coming into today, I was looking at the tables just like, okay, we've got first place coming up against last place.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Which is shocking
to be?
Because like Koi,
they were
off of day 1
a mid-table team.
Yeah, they were, and even so, I feel like the bottom of our standings has been mixed up a little bit in ways that we didn't, you know, entirely expect. I think people saw like BBL down there at the start, Carmine Core. We're fairly convinced that that was going to be where it was, but it's coming back.
Well, while we're in the hard time, apparently we've got something fun to show you guys. Koi have been copying Fnatic's warm-ups. Let's go and take a look.
Good. Wow, we're not in the same page.
That's the warm-up, apparently.
All right, cool. Yeah, I thought they were going to be like saying things, and they were not.
I thought we were cutting out to like a whole gym routine or something, but
no. It was urgent though. Look, the thing is, Koi, they got to get relaxed because I don't know. You got to stay positive after a half like that. I'm a bit of a loss for words. I started picking up a bit of the Fnatic stretch routine. It's been nice.
What is the stretch routine?
They move their arms a lot.
Okay.
I haven't been picking it up that closely.
You've just been observing from afar.
Yeah. It's a bit, yeah. I'm watching some fist bumps, down there, keeping the morale up. So great. It's so great that I can even inform you that we have a tech pause coming out of halftime. So it might be a second before we get back into things. Plenty of time to stretch, stand up, stretch your legs, get the blood flowing.
It's a good idea, actually. We're an old man now, Ender.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Feeling in the knees,
Oof.
Wrists, it's not good.
I mean,
that's why I was hoping
you don't really need
some...
those to cast, to be fair.
No, but
just
do
need the
pretty
voice.
much anything else. That'll be gone before you know it too.
Bit of a bedge moment for Dirk out there. Look, it's important you get your rest as a duelist player. I think we should interpret every little micro movement the players make and then spin it into some like obscure like narrative point. You know? It's like, oh, Durka at halftime reclines his chair, takes a little nap. I think every duelist at home needs to be doing the same, right? Get back into the headspace, take a rest. You can see it's 2 cups of coffee on the table. That's what you need.
What about mouse position? What about the exact rotation of the keyboard on the desk?
You know, I'm seeing with Fnatic, it looks like a lot of sort of horizontal Andes. I see Alphayer has like a 45-degree angle on the keyboard.
Yeah, I was going to say 45.
But the mouse is normal. I'm also seeing 5 cups on one
Chronicle's
desk.
like a 25-degree.
That's crazy. 5 cups on one desk? No wonder Koi are losing.
It's the caffeine. It's the secret sauce, guys. Get the caffeine.
It really is. It really is.
Apparently, it's a monitor issue we are looking into, just to give you guys a little bit more context. So when it is done, obviously, we will get things back underway. Won't make you wait any longer than necessary. But as updates come through, we'll keep you guys in the loop. What else can we analyze? We've done coffee cups. We've done rotation of keyboards.
Ooh, that's good.
What about mouse mats?
Mouse mats. Okay, I like it. Fnatic, pretty stock standard.
I like the red and the yellow together, though. I quite like that as a color scheme.
I like, I'm digging. I think Koi actually win out in the mouse mat category.
I think they do.
Some more color, more designs. Look, Fnatic, they're coming in. It's just like black on black, you know? It's classy, it's timeless, but it's a little bit, you know, everyone does that. I've got a black mouse mat at home, so I'm just like Fnatic, for real, for real. Just got away from Alpha. Yay. W. It's the little things in life, really. You know, we can
he's playing rock, paper, scissors. He's playing rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, are they?
He wants to play it.
Oh, my God. It's tight. Well, we can only see one
he's lost it already.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, we can see both.
I'm gonna be honest. There was a 35-minute pause on LEC once where we broke down an entire not tic-tac-toe. You just said it. What's
rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors. I'm a disaster up here.
Christy?
Yeah, 35 minutes. We broke down a best-of-5 rock, paper, scissors match on the analyst desk. Great. It's a good time. What we can do, though, is I see a lot of you chatting away. I'd love to, you know, see.
Have you just dropped a smiley in chat?
I just dropped a no because someone asked to start the game, and I'd rather talk. So sorry, guys. But I would love to know what your favorite emote is.
Favorite emote?
What's your favorite emote? Are you a frogman type of guy? I heckin' love arcane bat chest. Are you Bedge or resident sleeper or some other Durka variant?
I'm a pretty standard guy. Just lol for me.
Just lol.
Just lol. That's all I need.
Not even an omega lol.
No, not even a. I've seen that.
You're just a basic.
I've seen that
lol.
too often. I'm just a basic lol guy. Oh. Sometimes you gotta hit him with the basics, right?
God, this guy likes lol, guys.
Or any variation.
Yeah, get him. He likes lol.
Any variation of monk is fine. Yeah, I'm an old boy now.
Yeah, monk is pretty solid.
I don't know.
I must say.
You seem to live in Twitch chat.
I do.
You finish casting and that's where you spend all your time.
I roll in, I drop a classy, timeless smile.
A couple of lull enjoyers in the chat.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Do you remember back in the simple days, back when esports was done in, you know, basements?
Yeah.
When the best emote on Twitch was Franker Z, or everyone was seeking out the golden kappa? I still don't know if that was a real thing.
Not a clue.
But wow, look guys, maps. Did you know that there are currently 7 maps in the Valorant rotation? These are them right there.
I was so hoping to see Bind today. I was really excited.
Yeah, I do want to see more teams, you know, sort of interpret the map. It's always
look what you've done to chat. It's just a spam of emotes.
Oh, they might have turned on emote-only mode. That sometimes happens.
In which case you were solely responsible for this.
Ooh, yeah, that would be my fault, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm a fan of Bind. I want to see more teams play Yoru on it. I will be honest. I'm a Yoru enthusiast, but I want to see.
Why do you want to see more Euro on that map in particular?
Because like the disinformation, funky stuff you can do with teleporters is just lovely. In terms of like you can send a clone through, make it real. You can go in yourself, TP out. It basically like makes it so that you can like threaten early fights out of teleporters earlier. Like I saw last week, like someone just like running into a teleporter, but like keep running into the corner of the wall, pretending to be a clone, and then popping out with a flash. It's a good time. Raze is a little bit too strong, so you probably have to run a double duelist Raze Yoru. Now we're really cooking. Oh, but hey, that's okay.
I'm just enjoying the meltdown you sent chat into.
They're all looking for the golden kappa. It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Guys, if you find the golden kappa, you will get to come to VCT. If you book your own flight and hotel and buy your own ticket. And then, if all of those things happen, I will look out at you in the audience and give you a wave. There you go. Yeah! They didn't get the golden kappa, but they got the wave.
They got a wave anyway.
Yeah.
They got a preview.
A little preview of it. Oh, yeah.
If you have the golden kappa, you get a 2.7 second like hand wave.
That's solid. I think that's worth. Maybe I could just start charging people for that. Like, no golden kappa, but, you know, 20 bucks, I'll wave to you. Sure, why not?
How long are we talking per 20 bucks?
I mean, I guess we have to negotiate, huh? Yeah.
That's done up front before they head out.
They're still waving over there. They just never stopped waving back. No, I feel like
they're getting their money's worth.
Yeah, I totally left them hanging. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I must say, the Fnatic side of the crowd absolutely packed today. Got a lot of flags draped over. I think do I see some signatures on there too? Good stuff.
A few.
Good stuff.
Oh, I love Big Stevie down the floor. Look at him.
Now the Koi fans get to battle back. Yes! Fight! This is what I live for.
You know who the grand orchestrator of this duel is down there on the floor?
Who?
We see him.
Oh my.
The hype man, Mr. Stevie himself.
I love a good bit of hype injected into my main veins. Now, we are almost at the point. I don't know how long exactly this pause has been going on. I feel like it's been like about 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
Which is a third of the length of Mad versus T1 earlier today.
Lol.
So
yeah,
we're almost getting there. I'm really preying on some fandom overlap right now.
Yeah, Yinsu was a maker getting her hair done, and she was like, it literally took the longer to do my hair than it took for T1 to like pound Mad, and I was like, yeah.
That's brutal.
It was not a good time for any EU League enjoyers.
Pickles! All right, we're going to toss it down to Yinsu on the analyst desk.
Speak of the devil.
Let's go.
Thank you very much. You guys, I'm so happy, Ender, that you brought up Mad versus T1. I would love to talk about it. You two, you love League of Legends. So
I'm a JF fan. I got to the LEC only when you were working.
How long was the match?
17.
No, it didn't get to 17.
Yeah.
It was like 16, 40 something or something like that.
So could they FF in that time?
They could,
yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unlike League of Legends, in Europe, we're actually good at Valorant. So let's talk about our teams being good at a game. Now, Fnatic versus Koi here, I think we were kind of hyping it up a lot going into it, what we expected from both teams. Fnatic, they did try some new things, but let's revisit some of the times that the players bail them out time and time again. Kakuka, I mean, Durka and Alpha. Even if they in a little bit, it doesn't matter because they just do this.
No news, really, because especially this round where you see both Killjoy's ults just being a push, and Koi decides that they're going to go into breaking it. They don't get it, because even though there's 2 players onto Alpha, he even gets the 3rd one, and that means the 2 players of Koi are going to be detained by that Killjoy ult.
Yeah, Alpha is just the guardian of the lockdown, you know?
Yeah.
That's about it. I mean, Durka here, you can see that he hits a nasty 2K, but we have seen Durka in the beginning of the game a little bit, you know, still the 21 Durka when he was overheating a lot, pushing for the Viper.
It was a PRX instead of a DRX.
Maybe they were yelling PRX to overheat, who knows? Maybe
I mean, I think we should explain that, because I feel like we all know what that means, but for the viewers at home that don't know, so as we saw from the VoiceCon video that the Fnatic, Valorant social media team put out, during their games we hear Chronicle, I think it was, and Boaster as well,
yes.
like they like to shout the word DRX, which we learn later on is a reminder for the rest of the players to not to overheat. And Lothar, you want to explain why DRX in particular?
Well, DRX is a very good example when it comes to structure and not overheating. Another example would be Leviathan, by the way. But in general, like I feel like every team needs a call out to remind themselves of
that they're not
having
playing
the
ranked.
discipline. Right. I mean, in ranked, you should also do that, by the way.
Do you
Do you call DRX in your ranked games?
Well, when I call DRX actually in ranked is when we play Ascent.
They're like, what are you talking about?
It's like a post-plant positioning, and people actually catch up. I'm not kidding.
Do you think DRX themselves say DRX?
I don't think so. Maybe they say ourselves.
us. Remember, I don't even think they need to do that. But this is the thing, though. I feel like the major difference between, we were even talking about this when we were watching the game, between maybe the previous iteration of Fnatic and this one is back then. It was kind of Durka doing most of the bailing out, but now they have like Chronicle and Leo can do it as well when the rest of them are inting. But this is actually Durka's overall tournament stats right now, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and as you see there at the bottom, first bloods and first deaths. I think that especially as Lothar was saying at the beginning of the game, especially those first rounds, he was maybe taking too many risks, going too aggressive. We know that Fnatic might be stretching the gum a little bit and trying to think outside of the box when it comes to Lotus, maybe try and find more ways of being aggressive or putting pressure onto them. And Durka was, you know, maybe overheating a little bit, going into side before the util was prepped and yada yada. But, you know, he came to his senses.
The funny thing is that your duelist can be over-aggressive. That just the point is to have good spacing between the players, that when the duelist is trying to make the space by making the hard risk, high reward play, so make sure that if he fails, he gets traded. And that was the one thing that was a little bit, let's say, well, not happening for Fnatic. And that was the main issue in the first rounds. But even though that was happening, they were playing at a disadvantage and they still were winning rounds. And the biggest blunder was just that miscall when they ulted B-side with Fade ult and then rotated to its C and ran out of time.
Yeah, we will talk about that later when the map is finished as well. But for Koi,
yes,
10-2, we've seen an 11-3 comeback, all right? So even a team is 10-2 down, I'm like, hey, you never know. But Kakuka, realistically, what do they need to do going on their attack?
Oof, is very complicated because we know that if
the assistant coach.
A Goken? Maybe. Do you think they can sub in players mid-game?
I don't think so. But as you guys can see, the monitor issue is being sorted right now. But yeah, Kakuka, what do they need to do?
I think they need to go crazy. Probably Trex needs to swap that pillow and actually
that pillow
get it.
Always there? Am I?
I don't think so.
Wait, he's like Pan's in the Hypoc today on the show already. All right, let me take my pillow with me, you know,
let me check Twitter. Is Hypoc traveling? Lauren, yeah, okay, yeah, they're here.
I mean, is it as easy, Kakuka, as that they just need to wake up a little bit? Is it that easy?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I do understand the kind of the intention that they had going on the defense. They didn't want to allow Fnatic to even go into that post-plant situation because they know that fundamentally, and even with the pressure, just because they know how to put pressure after the plant. Oh, they're just looking at us.
How are you doing?
Is that the new pen? Is that cup going to be the pen?
Oh, that cup's about to get squished into powder.
He's so delicate. Did you see how he was touching it? It was like touching a light bulb.
I think he hears us right now.
Minnie's having a nap. Hey, yo, Minnie needs to wake up. It's not done yet. It's not that easy.
Maybe that was happening during the entire half, and that would explain a lot.
Thing is, Minnie is just so stressed all the time that I felt like maybe he deserves to have a nap. But Lothar, what do you think? Because 10-2, that's a really tall hill, but Lotus, at least right now, in terms statistically, is still a little bit more attack sided. So they're technically going on supposedly their better half.
Yeah, hopium here happening. You know, it's always possible. I would say that in Valorant, pistol rounds are probably the easiest rounds to win in a David versus Goliath situation, because there's less access to utility that Fnatic can use to their full extent. Because let's not kid ourselves, like Fnatic has really like supreme mechanical skill on the players.
Oh really? I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, but that's also posted there. And then we have the utility that is used in a pristine way, but on a pistol round when that utility is not present because they just don't have enough cash to buy all of that, then you have the chance to win against those teams a little bit typically, there's a higher chance of winning that round than in a full buy round. So winning pistol round is the first step. I mean, I'm stating the obvious. It's like, oh yeah, when a team win rounds, then they have a chance of winning the game, It's like very, very good.
Did you say the same about maps?
Yeah, how was that? If a team wins an opposing team's map pick, that's great.
I mean, yeah, definitely. If you want to win, it looks like Boaster needs to warm up again. They're getting cold after all this waiting. So some stretches, we need to keep the blood flowing. But yeah, it looks like we're still gonna wait for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it sounds like the tech issue is actually being resolved as we speak. So not too much longer, Lothar.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I wanted to say that, look, jokes aside, win condition for Koi here is a very, very, very distant one. But I do feel like they just need to gamble more. They need to be a little bit more confident in the way they play, because on defense that was absent. That was like a lot of cookie cutter positions being played on defense and not a lot of synergy represented by the team. And I hope that for attack, this is gonna be different.
Yeah, also we didn't mention, of course, Chronicle on Fnatic's Shadows now on Koi, both ex-teammates. It's kinda, wholesome but also heartbreaking at the same time. The good old days,
Honestly,
good old days.
if my vision is like
Same
intense.
for Leo and Cole, that they were
Yeah,
In Gilbert?
yeah, but I love Gilbert like Gambit. My vision is in like 7 years' time, we have the 10-year anniversary of this game, and we have a show match, and we reform old
Fish
Optic.
1 to 3.
Yeah, no, screw that. We reform old Optic and we reform old Gambit and get them to get on stage and play a show match. That is my ultimate vision. Riot, if you want to get in touch with me to work on that, feel free. But I will
You're gonna be preparing that for 7 years.
Yeah, honestly, I will give anything. You bring Defo back, N as well, get N in there too.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have a nice little reunion, which is something that I really want. But again, that is very, very, very far down the line. We gotta say though here, I said in the pre-show in terms of permutations, Koi, they do still have a chance. In fact, even if they lose to Fnatic here, they still have a chance. They just have to beat Heretics to keep themselves in playoffs contention. But if they lose to Heretics, it is GG. And actually, if they lose to Fnatic and beat Heretics, their chances are higher than if they lose to Heretics and beat Fnatic. So it's
kind of
Then it's
crazy.
obvious you have to lose
It's crazy
against Fnatic.
because the Koi situation is if they go into a tiebreaker scenario and as you say they win against Fnatic but they lose against Heretics, it doesn't matter that you're the only team that has beaten both Navi and Fnatic. It's the fact that since you do not have a favorable head-to-head against the teams that are on that lower part of the leaderboard, there's not much that you can do. But maps also matter. We'll get to see that further on.
Yeah, we will see indeed. But also as we head into the second half as well, Fnatic on their defense, what do you guys like to see? How different can their setups be? Because they've played Lotus a few times. We talk about how they could potentially be trying new things. Lothar, what new things is there even for them to try?
I don't think they will try anything new, to be honest. I feel
In
like
a
there's a lot of...
I agree.
On the defense, I would assume that the Viper is the main cause of like how you put the defense online, and that's not gonna change to not spoil anything for the future.
Well, I have some good news. We're getting back into game, Dez and Ender. I hope you guys enjoyed that podcast. I can't wait to see what we're gonna get for this half.
Thank you, Yinsu. We've been having a lot of fun uncrossing wires. During that time, we did a lot of walking around, and it was like a cat wall ball back here, but I think we're all good.
Some pacing, the falling asleep. We saw Fnatic, almost the entire team was just knocked out for 5-6 minutes. So you have to consider, even coming into the half, 10-2, maybe a little bit sleepy, gotta get the yawns out of the system.
So what you're kind of saying there is that was an elaborate ploy by Koi.
No.
Oh, it sounds it. Very elaborate.
That's a bit too much tinfoil hat for me. But Lothar was dishing out the hopium on the desk and talked about the pistol round. We'll see what Koi have in store for us. Of course, in order to win, they're probably gonna have to kill Leo, which they only managed to do twice the entire first half. Coincidentally, Koi also only won 2 rounds. So shout out Leo.
I love that stat that they shared on the desk earlier as well. Leo has less entry deaths than he does shock dart kills globally.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
It's crazy.
But also, like, Fnatic just they send the right people in to fight, you know? It's
Well,
Durka always leading the charge. Here we
in case
go.
Fnatic weren't 100% sure, they're very sure now exactly what's going on. It's going to be Stark, so bouncing all the way through as everyone else taking a little bit of chip damage on their way through. Chronicle starts out with the one, the turret taken down. Side control in the favor of Koi, but Fnatic are slowly starting to group their way back in. You may even see a flank from Durka coming into
Yeah,
he
just ended up breaking the Killjoy turret, so he's going to fall back entirely after revealing there could be a potential flank. Means only 3 players on site to defend from this. Wolfen's lurk timing has to work out, and he hears the footsteps. He can swing off those.
Great combo.
Perfect. He gets the kill in mid while they get one on site.
Yep, the Holmes coming on through. That's what helped him out in that first engagement. But now they're trying to box him into the back corner here. First tap coming through to try and force the fight. It's a quick kill coming out for Shados, but Leo gets the trade back before going down himself. Now it's a 1 versus 2 for Alpha. Probably the kind of person you want in this situation, but it's a lot to ask for. And Wolfen puts a bit of grave. Koi make it 3 rounds.
I mean, not the easiest round for Koi to win there, but respect to Wolfen having the exact right timing on the swing there, on the lurk, because it would have been really easy for him to activate that lurk quicker, you know, sort of walk into a 1 versus 1, but when you're lurking on this map on attack up through mid, like, that's the one angle you have to look out for. So I think activating your lurk off of the sound of footsteps running on through, that's exactly when you want to pull the trigger, and it gives him that 1 versus 1, sort of shooting Durka as he's rotating on through. And then he pays off later in the round too to secure it.
I think what I like from Koi there is they played things super tight as well. Didn't really play it the way Fnatic had done, being quite slow, quite controlled and composed. They were looking to be relatively together as a team, and now Fnatic are trying to break that up. Don't give them time to group up and make a play. Push into them aggressively, and they found the entry for it.
Yeah, this is like a full buy from Koi too, so any kills for Fnatic are going to be very meaningful.
Do they know? They're going to assume he's not here. They did a bit of spray through the smoke and missed absolutely everything. But obviously he's got to be mindful that once the smoke goes down, he could be in danger. Looks to his left, but Wolford's there. It's good to try and close the gap, making use of the smoke in the second round, but the Bulldog still hits like a truck. I was going to say like a bulldog, and it does hit like a bulldog.
A bulldog, all of it. Oh, Durka.
You rat.
Oh, this is so mean. Okay, no, they're clear. Respect. And the rest should be pretty easy work from Koi. So they only end up losing the 1 rifle. I believe they had the 1 Vandal and then 3 Bulldogs. Maybe just the 1. Yeah, you can see Wolfen just upgraded that one in mid. And really what they're trying to do is they're trying to convert in round 3. So it won't be a bonus from them. You're down this much, like you have to just keep that snowball rolling. So had Fnatic been able to find anything more, it actually would hand out like big time for them. And they could have stopped, you know, a couple of these rifles going through. So still a chance for Chronicle if he finds good timing to take one out of the picture.
Also taking a look at all the blue crosses on your map, and you can see how many of those were in such aggressive forward positions as well. Fnatic wanted to close that gap and get up close and personal. But Koi, to give them full credit, dealt with that aggression incredibly well. They now at least have 4 rounds on the board. I won't lie, I was probably of the opinion we'll be seeing maybe a 13-3 or 13-2, a bit of a stomp by Fnatic coming into this map. But Koi, we saw a little bit of goodness coming at them early on with those 2 rounds, and then even around that, the ones they lost, they still played some of those pretty well. And you've seen it there in the last 2 as well.
They're going to have to look out for the early aggression from Fnatic, because you see they're going to put a lot of attention over towards Rebel. You can see a couple of stars placed as well, potentially looking for a suck or concuss if anyone pushes very aggressively, right? If you see the Omen TP or the satchel right off the bat, you can look to fight immediately, but instead they pull it back to hold on to. It means B-side is very weak at the moment, and Koi immediately going to pounce on that one.
Stark's so back in. He's been a couple of times now hopping out over those mollies, over everything else coming his way, just to get himself in a particularly powerful position. He's the one who's gone deep on site here, of course, alongside the plan. Coldamenta in danger for a couple of seconds there. He was sat inside the molly, he's now out of dodge as well. So once again, fast-paced play is keeping Fnatic on the back foot here.
The tough thing is, Starzo's the only one with a forward position. He has to come up huge in this round, but he's been spotted out. The rest of the team is playing through main, which makes it so hard to survive in the post
backstab. Getting extended in the back here as Alpha comes around on the flank, and that's that main position, as you say, on site shut out. The rest is stuck behind a smoke that's now dissipated, but it's still ugly. There is a Viper wall sat in the way.
Wolfen late on this flank could pay off here, but the clock is already going down. It's going to be halved.
Oh boy, this could be mega. Sees 2 line up, but can't find the third. It's a 1 versus 1. He taps, and Alpha gets the kill and spins onto the defuse. Fnatic win it out. What a play to close.
Oh, Fnatic winning out in that retake right there. It goes down to the wire again. A couple of these rounds have been very close at the bitter end. But the fact that the scouting came down, spotted the Rays pushing back towards spawn, Alfier finds that one. Even though Wolfen's reflank looked nuts, gets 2 kills, stops the diffuser as well. Just a little bit too delayed on that one. I think one of the things you almost always have to have when you're attacking that B site is control of 2 of the entryways into site. It's why you always see teams trying to either take baby door and main or flip the map and push spawn. These types of ideas. Otherwise, Max sort of flooded and only have to look one direction. Now Koi have lost their solo smoke on attack. So they're going to be praying they can find some early fights before it turns into a full-on site commit, but Fnatic are not going to give those to them. They're going to play off of their utility and force Koi to overexpose themselves coming to the site without those sight lines blocked off.
A little bit indecisive there for me, Koi. Spoke about it already a few times, hitting B there, hitting C previously. Just full send it. Don't give Fnatic time to get yourself settled, whereas here they play things a little bit slower. Obviously Fnatic not fully aware they were coming in, but straight away look at the difference. There are 3 players here. There are ults coming across site. They've got everything ready. They've got the read on Koi. Now they've got a choice. You've lost 2 players trying to push in. You've committed to trying to make this work. You've only got 2 players left. You're against 5. It feels like a big ask.
They have to find Alpha, but you're still walking into Killjoy stuff. Standing. Yeah, I don't know.
Spike down.
I mean, allowing Fnatic go to 12 is just so brutal, so they're going to try to fight their way through it, but that one is going to sting at the end. Should be able to get light armor rifles still, I'd assume, on the majority of players. Not quite. I see a Guardian and a Spectre at the very least. But yeah, I mean, if Alfeir's just finds that kill, I don't really know what you're supposed to do.
Nothing, just call up on the ball, cry.
Well, I mean, one of the things they were missing, the smokes, but also that's a paranoia line you often see the Omen send it out from, so not being able to block him off or force Alfier to go back definitely hurt, and I think Koi are just going to try to instantly explode over towards here, but you can see the Star setup. Surprising, Starzo works through it and finds the opener.
He's done that quite consistently in most of these rounds, which I really appreciate and admire as well. Just willing to full send into dangerous territory without information, going into these gunfights with confidence. Sure, he might not be absolutely lighting up the leaderboard, but at least it's making things happen for Koi, who again have gone aggressive in the early round, but then slowed down again after. And this is where we've seen Fnatic with the chance to set themselves up and get comfortable. They've got the Killjoy online. Of course, it's available for Koi too, but it's not going to be pretty.
Do you think there was 1 fewer stars that Boaster had previously put over towards Rubble, which maybe would have allowed them to fight more for it? But here we go from Koi, patiently clearing out that first angle on Baby Doors. They open the big one.
Well, the call comes in there too, sticking on B for the side of Fnatic, expecting a potentially a late rotate. What they don't know is everybody is on tree here as well. Leaving one behind in the form of Trex. I think if they hit the door again, they'll be in a bit of risk here, thinking, okay, they're definitely going in for tree. So they want to trigger it a second time. May well back out here as Boaster starts out on 1. You got him on the long spray. They absolutely love the Odin on this map.
It's so goofy, man! Like every single round, the tree spams everything. Now Chronicle on the retake coming in very quick.
Drops down. Looking for the wraparound. It's going to be a real nasty bit of
Shadows
play
has
coming
ult.
in
Why is
here
he
as
playing
well.
so far forward?
Killjoy's coming all the way down. Yeah, Shados is right up close here as well. Pops the ult out. Tries to step on forward, but not too much that he can do. Fnatic get everything they need here to take this first map in style.
Look, it was a long